Curtly Ambrose charges in from the Waka end. Tendulkar on strike. Short ball. And he pulls it. Right off the middle. 4 runs. The camera pans to Ambrose. His tall frame towering at 6 feet 7 inches, glaring down the pitch. And there stands a young 21-year-old Sachin Tendulkar, calm, focused, and unshaken. It was the early 90s, a golden era of fast bowling, when facing the West Indies was almost like walking into a storm. And Ambrose was that storm. Curtly Ambrose wasn't your typical fast bowler. He didn't sledge, he didn't celebrate wildly. He would just walk back to his mark, silent, cold, and terrifying. But his bowling did all the talking. Steep bounce, unplayable seam movement, and a rhythm that crushed even the best. From Alan Border to Graham Gooch, every batter had faced the wrath of Ambrose. But now, it was Sachin's turn. It was 1992-93. India touring Australia. The venue, the WACA in Perth, the fastest and bounciest wicket in the world. Facing Ambrose and Walsh on this surface was like trying to bat on a trampoline covered in fire. Sachin Tendulkar walked in, just 21 but already the hope of a billion. The West Indies quicks were ruthless. Ambrose bowled bounces that climbed towards the throat, chest and helmet. But Sachin didn't step back. He stood tall. He pulled. He cut. He drove. With precision that stunned even the commentators. He made 88 runs, not a century. But every run was soaked in bravery. Commentators couldn't believe what they were watching. This young man from India is playing Ambrose like he's born for this. At one point, Ambrose smiled. A rare sight. Almost as if to say, "Alright kid, you've got guts." Fast forward to 1994-95. West Indies tour. India. Ambrose hadn't forgotten that innings in Perth. Now it was his turn. Indian pitches, Indian heat, but the same intensity in his eyes. In the Mumbai test, Ambrose produced a spell that reminded everyone why he was the best. He bowled with precision, teasing Sachin outside off stump, and finally, got his wicket. Sachin nicked one behind. Ambrose didn't celebrate, he just stood there. That trademark death stare, a silent message. This battle isn't over. But you can't keep Sachin quiet for long. In the one-day international series that followed, he counter-attacked. Ambrose bowled short. Sachin hooked. Ambrose pitched up. Sachin drove on the rise, straight past him. Those were the shots of a man who didn't just survive fast bowling. He conquered it. Every Indian fan watching those games knew. This was no ordinary player. This was someone who faced fear and turned it into art. Years later, both men would speak about each other with deep admiration. Ambrose once said, "Sachin was one of the most complete batsmen I bowled to. You couldn't bluff him. He picked up length quicker than anyone." And Sachin wrote in his autobiography, "Playing it my way." Ambrose's bounce was unpredictable. Even when he didn't say a word, his stare could rattle the best. Facing him was always a challenge I loved. There was no hatred, no sledging, just pure old-school cricketing respect. Two masters doing what they did best. Ambrose versus Sachin wasn't about personal rivalry. It was about two extremes of the cricketing world. The Caribbean thunderbolt versus the Indian genius. Pace versus timing. Intimidation versus calmness. Every ball they faced off was a test of courage and craft. And through those battles, both men elevated each other's legends.